to my next question is, let's assume we got our hands around the integration and consolidation of training needs. The next big thing would be to identify the levels of learnings across the hierarchy. So there is seamless progression of learning. How can competency skills across career progression levels in an organization be blended into learning needs assessment and analysis?
Okay. Actually, that's. I think a lot of organizations really struggle to really get this particular part of it bang on, right? To really get very effective and efficient. Now, as long as your learning needs analysis takes into account career growth plans and needs of the individuals, and if that is incorporated in your learning needs analysis, you've actually covered this to a certain extent. You see, McKinsey has a way of looking at business plans. It looks at Horizon 1, Horizon 2, and Horizon 3. Horizon 1 is very short term in terms of being 6 months to 1 year. Horizon 2 is about 2 to 3 years. Horizon 3 is about 3 to 5 years, not longer than that. Now they look at business capabilities, business growth, business strategy as H1, H2, and H3 horizon. Now what we've been trying to do in ThoughtWorks and in some of the organizations earlier that I've been worked with is also to be able to make capability gaps and growth of the individual and organization, both the individual and the organization from a H1, H2, and H3 horizon perspectives. Now that is important to know because then it helps you to incorporate progression, career movements, promotions, succession planning, etc. from an immediate need to a 5-year horizon. Now it might seem like, do I then have to put in a learning needs analysis plan for 5 years? Not essentially. However, your learning needs analysis or your learning calendar you should typically know what you're going to cover in the next 3 years at least. And that's what you might want to offer the learning calendar to the organization at a 6-monthly periodical way or a 1-year periodical way. But overall, you should have a H1, H2, H3 horizon of how the capability building and the learning calendar and the learning plan of your organization more or less looks like. Again, it is not static, it is a dynamic one. You will have to continuously review it with all the stakeholders, bring in the voices of all the stakeholders that we talked about before, and keep reviewing it. And that's where the strategic element of your learning and development comes in. So most organizations, like we talked about, use competency models, mapping models for progression. Promotions from individual contributors to team leads, to project managers, to program managers, etc. Now that's a typical promotion or a progression, career progression. And that's for an operational role. For a technical role, it could be something from an individual contributor to a tech lead, to technology architect, to vice president technology, or the CTO, or the capability building in charge. It depends on what the career plan movement for technology guys are. Transitions into new roles. When I say, okay, now I've been an engineer for 3 years. Now I want to become, let's say, a finance guy. So that's a transition into a completely new role, and a lot of organizations are encouraging these transitions into roles. Lateral movement that are cross-functional in nature. Again, a transition into a new role could simply be from moving from being a HRIS person to being a performance management person. Cross-functional could be an engineer moving from an engineering function to an operational function. So all of these transitions, progressions, they're all based on your competency mapping models. What are the various roles that are there in an organization? And for each role, what are the various competencies that are required? And what are the levels of these competencies that are required? During your learning needs analysis, focusing specifically on the career movement, both planned and projected career movement, ensures that you are covering the progression bit of it. The competencies the organization and the individuals need to invest in for each of these planned and projected desired movements over a period of 1 to 2 years or 2 to 3 years really should flow into your learning needs analysis. Now, if your organization does not have a competency map, your learning needs analysis can simply look at what your typical promotion progression process is. What are the frameworks that an organization uses for some of your promotion processes? Probably they use job descriptions, um, event-based interviews, etc. Now look at what of these competencies these throw up. Can you then bring it into a part of your career development conversations into an individual, see what his growth needs are, and can that input flow into your LNE? Now, your learning needs analysis also specifically focus on succession planning, especially at the leadership level. As you grow higher up in the organization, succession planning really becomes a focused area for your learning needs analysis. So these are various ways in which you can really look at integrating career progressions into your learning needs.
So, Satya, you really touched upon some very important aspects in case people don't have competency mapping, because a lot of organizations which may not be as mature as yours would not have competency mapping. And you touched upon how by using promotion, progression discussions, all those inputs should be used in LNA. So that's really good point that you have got to this forum, because we could have participants who do not have competency mapping in the organization, and to put that together is a big thing. So that's great.